They considered themselves to be winners. They believed they broke you, left you in pieces, drownings in self-doubt, remorse and rage. Perhaps it was a betrayal, a deception, a moment of cruelty so keen it left a scar. Then you were looking for revenge. You aimed to let them experience the weight of their actions. But supposing I told you that actual revenge is not what you imagine it to be? In fact, the Stoics would argue that seeking revenge is a dangerous path, one that ultimately leads you to the same misery and chaos you've already faced. They would tell you that your peace of mind is the greatest weapon, and that the real power lies in rising above what they did. Let me show you what I mean. Walk away like you don't care. You need to take the first and most powerful step, which is to walk away from the situation, not only physiologically, but also for emotional reasons. Feelings of having something taken away from you are evoked whenever you are injured by another person, particularly by someone you trusted. Your sense of security, your sense of self-worth, or your sense of peace could be at stake. But if you don't give them permission to do so, they won't be able to take anything. Stoicism tells us that we have the ability to manage the feelings that we allow ourselves to experience. Your approach to dealing with those who have wronged you will be dramatically transformed as a result of this transformation in perspective. In his writings, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius stated that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. To put it another way, you should avoid giving them the joy of witnessing you fall apart. It is important that you do not let their activities disturb your inner tranquility. You deprive them of the ability to exert control over you when you refrain from reacting to their actions. It is no longer possible for their words, their deeds, or their nasty behavior to have an effect on your state of mind. Give it some thought. When we find ourselves in circumstances that require us to react, whether it be with anger, hurt, or irritation, how frequently do we go through these experiences? Sometimes we feel the need to defend ourselves, and other times we want them to know that they are incorrect. However, here is the catch. Even when you react, you are still not taking control of the situation. In doing so, you are allowing them to control how you feel. It is because of their behaviors that you are letting your mood, your sense of tranquility, and your sense of self-worth to be altered. Walking away from a situation is where the genuine power of the situation lies. When you make the decision to respond with patience and silence rather than anger or resentment, you are not only able to keep your emotions under control, but you are also able to establish a standard for yourself. By demonstrating to them that they are unable to shake you, move you, or provoke you, you demonstrate that they are powerless. This is the point at which you begin to exert control over the story. You do not take part in their drama in a passive manner. Rather, you are an active participant in the creation of your own calm. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, was famous for his teachings, which included the idea that although we cannot control the behavior of other people, we do have complete control over how we react to them. It was his words that he said, "It is not what happens to you that matters. What matters is how you react to it." Therefore, you are putting this Stoic wisdom into practice each time you make the decision to not react, to maintain your composure, and to remain calm. When you choose not to let their acts have an effect on you, you demonstrate that their actions do not define you or have the power to manipulate your life. Acquiring the ability to exercise control over your emotional triggers is yet another essential component of this concept. A question that you should ask yourself whenever you sense anger or annoyance rising up inside of you is this something that is worth giving my energy to? The question is it worth my peace? It is important to keep in mind that the value of your mental tranquility far outweighs any transient win that you could have as a result of addressing them. As a matter of fact, the more you react emotionally, the more you give them the gratification of knowing that they still have influence over you. The power of emotionally withdrawing from a situation not only safeguards your peace of mind, but also helps you become more resilient. Your capacity for emotional resilience is growing. The fact that your self-worth is not dependent on the acceptance or behaviors of other people is something that you are teaching yourself. You have control over your mind, not over the events that occur outside of it, as Marcus Aurelius once stated. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. After you have internalized this, you will no longer allow their actions to govern the emotional state that you are experiencing. When you take responsibility for how you feel, you are engaging in the most effective form of retribution for yourself. Something that is even more significant is the fact that emotionally withdrawing from a situation is a sort of self-respect. By doing so, you are conveying to them that your tranquility is more essential than participating in their disorder. You have established a limit. Being a passive or weak person is not the issue. Rather, it is about having the strength to recognize that there are some fights that are not worth fighting, not because you are required to, but rather because you are defending your own energy. You make the conscious decision to be the more powerful person. Think about it. They have caused you pain. It has caused you to lose your equilibrium. However, you do not become angry, because you don't want people to see you in pain. You just distance yourself from the situation, keep your composure, and carry on with your life. Such a person is the kind of person who has complete control over their own feelings. It's the kind of individual who understands the power that comes from simply leaving a situation. You have already come out on top at that very time when they are waiting for you to either disintegrate or answer. Because of you, they are no longer able to exert control over you. In addition, when you do not provide them with the joy of seeing you wounded, they come to the realization that their acts have no significance in your domain. The most effective kind of retribution is not a reaction. Rather, it is the composure and unyielding strength to walk away as if you don't care. Success is a silent storm. You have to be successful, and this is the true kicker. This is not in a manner that is loud and in your face. Rather, it is in a manner that is silent and insurmountable. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who lived a life beset by enormous personal hardship, is credited with saying, "As a result, the most effective method of retaliation against people who have wronged you is to rise above it. Successfully do what they believe to be impossible. Demonstrate to them that those behaviors cannot prevent you from moving forward. It is not necessary for success to scream. The fact that it is in the public eye is not something that is required. The force that it possesses is undeniable, and it must be experienced. Take into consideration the individuals who have offended you, whether they have questioned your abilities, minimized your potential, or even attempted to destroy your own advancement. They anticipated that you would fail, that you would be overcome by their pessimism throughout the entire process. It is precisely for this reason that your success needs to be the kind that takes them by surprise. This is not the kind that is spectacular and draws attention to itself. Rather, it is the kind that gently and quietly takes root and grows. When you prove to them that you are capable of doing something that they believed you were incapable of doing, when you overcome their negativity and develop your life in spite of them, that is when you demonstrate to them who is truly in control. According to the words of Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the way. Each obstacle that they present to you is merely a stepping stone on the route that you are traveling. That their attempts to hurt you have only served to fuel your growth is demonstrated by the fact that you continue to accomplish achievement after success. The Stoic concept of resilience comes into play at this point in the discussion. Pain, betrayal, and challenges are all things that you may expect to encounter in your life. The Stoics, on the other hand, taught us that we can use every adversity as a stepping stone upon which to build something more significant. Were they hoping for your failure? They desired for you to fall apart under the pressure of their acts, didn't they? Then demonstrate to them the effective power of your endurance. Raise yourself above their constraints and let your achievements to speak louder than their efforts to prevent you from achieving your goals. However, this does not mean that you should go out into the public and brag about your accomplishments. The Stoics realized that true success is more about the development and mastery of one's own self than it is about the approval of others. It is not necessary for you to highlight your accomplishments in front of them. The results of your efforts will testify for itself. The story will be gradually reshaped as a result of your accomplishment, much like a storm that arrives without making any noise, but completely transforms everything in its path. There is a persistent demand in the world that we live in to publicize our wins and to flaunt our accomplishments, whether it be on social media or in public places. On the other hand, genuine success, the kind that originates from within, does not require the approval of others in order to feel that it is worth something. It is calm, it is consistent, and it is rooted in a purposeful direction. When you construct a life that is driven by your own standards, your own beliefs, and your own definition of success, it becomes obvious to people around you, particularly those who have caused you pain, that you were always intended to rise, regardless of what they tried to do to prevent you from doing so. In your opinion, what could possibly be more effective than engaging them in a verbal altercation? Silent advancement is being made. Watch as you do things that they could never have dreamed you would be able to do. Give them the opportunity to observe your transformation without you having to explain it. In point of fact, the more your accomplishment is understated, the more it shakes them up. Because in all honesty, there is nothing that makes people feel more uneasy than witnessing someone succeed without the need for the validation or attention that they had anticipated. They will be left baffled as to how they could have failed to see it coming. This is the most lyrical part, right? In the end, your success will be the most effective form of retribution. It is a form of retribution that does not demand you to put yourself on the same level as them. In order to hurt someone back, it is a form of retribution that does not require any words or deeds. Instead, it changes into a manifestation of your tenacity, perseverance, and the power that you have developed in response to challenges that you have encountered. What exactly does this look like when it's put into action? Possibly it is elevating your professional standing to a degree that they never imagined you could achieve. It could be anything as simple as starting your own business, as complex as being the best version of yourself, or as simple as learning a new skill. Carry out whatever it is in complete silence. Let the outcomes do the talking. Allow your progress to describe the situation. Furthermore, as your life progresses and your success grows, you will come to the realization that the most effective form of retribution is simply to be so very excellent that people are unable to ignore you. Master your emotions. This is very important. It was acknowledged by the Stoics that feelings such as anger, irritation, and melancholy are ephemeral, and that they do not determine who we are by themselves. It is possible to exert control over responses, which are what they are. You have control over your mind, not over the events that occur outside of it, as Marcus Aurelius once stated. When you understand this, you will discover your own strength. A fundamental lesson that we may learn from the Stoics is that we are not the slaves of our feelings. To be at the mercy of how we are feeling at any particular moment is not something that we have to do. The power lies in the manner in which we choose to react to those internal experiences. In and of themselves, emotions are natural. When one is harmed, wronged, or betrayed, it is natural to experience a range of emotions, including anger, despair, and frustration. However, the Stoic philosophers were aware of the fact that although we are not always able to control the feelings that we experience, we are able to control how we react to those feelings. It is not difficult to have a surge of fury when someone causes you pain. You have the need to lash out, to say something tormenting, and to exact retribution. When you give in to those feelings and allow them to take control of you, however, you are giving them the ability to control you. You have given their acts the power to determine how you feel, how you react, and ultimately how you live in that particular instant, thanks to your actions. It is about regaining control of your feelings that the Stoic practice of mastering your emotions is all about. The philosopher Epictetus imparted to us the knowledge that men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. To phrase it another way, the things that occur to us are not the source of our pain. Rather, it is the manner in which we understand and respond to those events. It is not the deed itself that should determine your emotional state when someone hurts you. Rather, it is how you perceive that action that should define your emotional condition. If you make the conscious decision to view their actions as something that does not have the potential to disrupt your equilibrium, then it will not be able to disrupt your serenity. You are making the conscious decision to not let their cruel behaviors to determine how you feel emotionally. To put this into practice, it requires taking a momentary pause before reacting, taking a few deep breaths and asking yourself, what do I want my response to be for this situation? Is what it means. There is no need for you to be motivated by primal feelings of rage or hurt. As an alternative, you have the option of selecting a reaction that is congruent with your principles, your sense of self-respect, and your long-term tranquility. Seneca made a profound observation when he noted that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. A lot of the time, the rage that we experience is the product of a story that we have made up in our heads, what we believe we deserve, what we believe they owe us. On the other hand, once you have mastered your feelings, you will no longer let those imagined scenarios to dominate your actual life. You will no longer be living in a story of vengeance or remorse. Rather, you will begin to live in reality, where you will have the ability to govern your own peace. This does not mean that you should repress your feelings or act as if they do not now exist. It is not about repressing everything or disregarding the agony that you are experiencing. Instead, it is about being aware of your emotions without allowing them to control you. This is about having the awareness that our feelings are merely fleeting signals that are stored in our thoughts, and that we have the power to choose how we will respond to them. Do you get feelings of anger? You should be aware of it, but you shouldn't allow it control your behavior. Do you experience any pain? Accept it, but don't let it exert any influence over how you behave. Keep in mind that you are the one who permitted them to damage you by their behavior. This means that as soon as you give yourself the ability to manage your reactions, you cease giving them the opportunity to injure you again. You regain control of your agency. Take a minute to gather your thoughts. When was the last time you let your feelings to dictate your behavior in response to someone who had harmed you? After that, how did you feel overall? undoubtedly not very good, isn't it? It is possible that you have made a hasty decision, uttered something that you later come to regret, or allowed that emotional outburst to push you further away from your goals. Consider, however, a different set of circumstances. What if, rather than responding, you took a moment to calm down, focus about the things that are important to you, and then answered with a calm and strong response? What would happen if you made the decision to not let their words, actions, or negative attitude to disrupt your ability to find peace? In order to achieve the highest level of strength, you must master your feelings. You are more powerful than they will ever be if you make the decision to not react in rage or pain that you are experiencing. You eliminate the effect that they have. They might have caused you pain, but they are no longer responsible for your responses. Your decision of how you wish to react provides you with the ability to exercise control over the circumstance. You take control of your own life and emotional condition rather than others, and you become the one in command. At the end of the day, this is the fundamental strength of the Stoic mindset. It is not about avoiding emotions or pretending they don't matter. Rather, it is about not allowing them to govern you. It is about making a deliberate decision about how you will react and not letting the conditions of the outside world determine your level of inner calm. You give yourself the ability to live with clarity, strength, and an unwavering sense of control when you master your emotions. This is true regardless of what life throws at you. Prove them wrong in silence. The words are simple. It is the actions that speak louder. It is common for others to anticipate that you will reply in kind when you are wronged by another person, maybe by using harsh words or by exacting retribution. But the Stoics would say that the best way to exact revenge is to demonstrate that you are wrong through your acts rather than via your words. The fact of the matter is that you do not owe anyone an explanation for your development, your success, or your advancement. It is not necessary for you to provide excuses for your travel or to demonstrate anything to those who have harmed you. In point of fact, when you feel the need to justify or defend yourself, you are giving them the ability to control the narrative you tell. In its place, you should let your actions and achievements to speak for themselves. In the long term, that is the most effective method to demonstrate to them that their attempts to injure you were not only useless, but also irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius penned the following: "Do not waste any more time arguing about what we consider to be a good man. Become one. It is not necessary for you to waste time defending your character or your potential in the same way. Don't let yourself get caught up in trying to convince them of your value or the way toward moving forward. Your work, your accomplishments, and your personal development should be the ones to speak for themselves. It is inevitable that people who have wounded you or doubted you will eventually come to the realization that they were incorrect when you concentrate on being the finest version of yourself. The realization that you have reached is significantly more powerful than any argument that you could have had with them. Just give it some thought. Individuals frequently make assumptions about what you are capable of or are not capable of accomplishing based on their own narrow perspective. They believe they are aware of your boundaries. They believe they have the ability to know how far you can go, how much you can tolerate, or what you are capable of accomplishing. However, here's the thing. They are not familiar with you. They are unaware of the confidence that lies within you. These individuals are not aware of the extent of your determination. Therefore, when you manage to surpass their expectations without having to utter a single word, you deal a blow to their pride, which is a wound that is not easily healed. Proving them wrong in silence is a concept that emphasizes the importance of taking the moral high ground. You should concentrate on demonstrating to the world what you are capable of doing, rather than indulging in petty conflict, seeking revenge, or providing justification. They may believe that you are weak, but you can demonstrate your strength by growing and succeeding. Those who believe that you are a failure should be disproved by accomplishing something that they considered to be impossible. They may believe that you have been defeated, but you should rise higher than they could ever imagine. Your accomplishments will speak more loudly than any verbal altercation that may possibly take place. Despite the fact that it is a covert method of retribution, it is the most efficient one. By just living your truth and continuing to go forward, you demonstrate to them that the terrible actions they have taken against you have no influence over you. In addition, even if they could try to move on or find another victim, you have already moved past them and are establishing the life that they never imagined you should have. According to Seneca, another renowned Stoic philosopher, a good character and a virtuous life are the best form of revenge. Seneca made this statement centuries ago. This indicates that the goal of becoming a better version of yourself is a sort of resistance that comes in the shape of silent resistance. You will become the evidence that they were mistaken about you as a result of your change, your progress, and your prosperity. Now, here's the important part. You don't have to smear it all over their face. There is no need for you to brag or demand acknowledgement to anyone. Simply continue to put in the effort, keep going forward, and stay patient when they come to the realization that they have fallen behind. Imagine that you are planting seeds in complete silence. The more you tend to your development, the more the results of your labor will become apparent, and they will frequently come when you least expect them to. They will be forced to come to terms with the fact that they underestimated you when they see you succeeding than they did before. Even though they might not say it, you would know that their presumptions were completely disproved. At the end of the day, the most effective kind of retribution is not about getting back at them. You need to demonstrate, without using words, that their terrible deeds are not going to be able to stop you. It is about demonstrating to them that their pessimism has no impact whatsoever on your accomplishments. And when you do this, you not only show them that they are wrong, but you also demonstrate the most powerful form of self-mastery, which is the ability to rise above, to continue going forward, and to let your actions say volumes. Level up, even when it hurts. The Stoics felt in using adversity to grow stronger since they understood it is inevitable in life. Seneca penned, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Don't let hurt to break you, let it grow you instead. All gasoline is pain, rejection, betrayal. Use the hurt to drive you to higher ground rather than allow it define you." To put it another way, life is a roller coaster with ups and downs, none of which anyone manages without hardship. The secret difference between people who succeed and those who fail is our reaction to those trying circumstances. When things do not go our way, it is tempting to give in to hopelessness. But the Stoics remind us that these are the times when we most have chances for development, as we feel most vulnerable. They see adversity as a chance to develop our character and increase our strength, not only as something we must go through. Every trying situation, from the sense of rejection from a lost chance to the betrayal from someone you trust, you have two options. Either let the suffering break you, or utilize it as a spur for development. The Stoics, especially Seneca, saw that our response to our suffering defines us more than its actual intensity. "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body," writes he. Emotional and mental suffering can strengthen the mind and spirit, much as physical training increases body strength. Consider the most agonizing events you have personally experienced. Perhaps it was a period when someone you loved turned on you, or when you worked non-stop on a project only to see it fall apart. The natural impulse is to plunge into frustration, wrath, or despair. The Stoic perspective, however, is that the suffering is transient, even if it is real and usually intolerable. Your strength, resiliency, and capacity to soar above still remain. You are being created into something more when you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Imagine it this way. Development cannot be comfortable. It occurs in unease. It's in the trying times that we grow to be resilient, learn how to negotiate the complexity of life, and emerge from the wreckage of failure. Under adversity, the Stoic acts rather than giving in to feeling. Their internal condition is not dictated by their situation. Rather, their attention stays on what they can influence, their response. Every loss and every betrayal presents a chance for personal development. This kind of thinking helps you to perceive the world differently. Rather of considering challenges as impediments, you begin to see them as chances to show your tenacity, grow personally, and get stronger. Pain is a fuel for change. It doesn't have to break you. Think for a moment. How many times, following something challenging, have you become stronger? Though you might not have realized it in the moment, looking back, those difficulties were the ones that shaped you. You are also growing most when you are experiencing the most discomfort. Let's investigate this concept. Most of the time, we consider personal development as something that occurs gradually over time via positive events. Actually, nevertheless, development quickens in difficulty. We grow emotionally resilient and mentally tough when we head-on experience suffering. Remind yourself that this is the time you are being shaped, even if you are now struggling. Let the hurt define you, then use it as a force propelling you on. See your life as a game in which every level is more fulfilling, yet also more difficult. You have options when life presents obstacles. Stay at your present level, defeated by the suffering, or level up and become the stronger, more capable, and ready for next version of yourself. The Stoic perspective helps you to follow the later road. Every difficulty should be a chance for you to grow emotionally intelligent, hone your abilities, and show that nothing, not even treachery, not even rejection, nor even hardship, can stop you. Keep from letting them see you suffer. This is essential. Don't let people watch you fall apart to satisfy them when they wrong you or disappoint you. Allow them to witness you rising. Let them witness your will and fortitude in handling difficulty. You convey a far bigger message than words could when you refuse to let their behavior disturb your peace or advancement. You are thriving, not only surviving. Retaliation or getting even with them is not the ideal kind of payback. It's in your change. They understand they have undervalued you when they watch you struggle but continue to rise, and when they see you develop someone not defined by their circumstances or anyone's view of you. And at that point, they begin to regret first meddling with you. Improves. Put more effort into it. Turn into someone they will regret ever fooling around. This addresses more than only refuting them. It's about establishing yourself right. It's about living according to your strength, development, and capacity for overcoming. Every time you overcome adversity and use it to propel your achievement, you are not only leveling off, you are proving to the world and yourself that you are unquestionable. The Stoic thinkers help us to realize that we have the ability to control our reactions. We are not only victims of our situation. Every difficult event presents a chance for you to grow in ways you never could have predicted. It helps you to hone your character, and you become unstoppable when you come out of these obstacles stronger, smarter, and more capable. Eventually, the most effective kind of retribution is not about descending to their level. It has to do with leveling off. And you become someone they will never see when you decide to utilize pain as a stepping stone for development. Your ultimate payback is your strength, resilience, capacity to rise above the suffering and flourish. Build a life they can't touch. What would you say if I told you that the most effective way to exact retribution is to build a life that is so self-sufficient and so rich in success that it no longer has any significance to you? Epictetus and other Stoics highlighted the need of exercising control over the things that are within one's power. What is it that you are able to do? Your own life. You have options, your independence. When someone damages you, they are attempting to enter your world and take control of it. They intend to put you in a position where you feel unimportant, powerless, or little. One thing to keep in mind, however, is that the most effective method of exacting retribution is not by fighting back or even confronting them. Specifically, by constructing a life in which their activities carry no significance. Through the creation of a life in which their harmful words or actions no longer have any effect on you. You effectively cut off their influence when you concentrate on constructing your own world, a world that is autonomous, self-sustaining, and filled with purpose, the world that you have created for yourself. The philosopher Epictetus stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." To put it another way, when you turn your attention within and strive toward the creation of a life that is in accordance with your beliefs and objectives, you begin to recognize that the negativity of others has no influence on the path that you are on. Consider the following. When you are completely engrossed in a life that is both exciting and fulfilling for you, how much time do you have left to spend ruminating on the past or being obsessed with the behavior of others? If you have invested your time and energy into the creation of something significant, you will not have room in your life for the destructive influence of those others. You are overly preoccupied with concentrating on the things that are important to you. Creating a life that is so full of purpose, progress, and accomplishment that the negativity of others just disappears is the ultimate kind of retribution. Imagine that you are entirely at peace with who you are, that you are around by people who are positive and supportive, and that you are inspired to achieve your own goals each and every day. Their ideas, their nasty comments, and their treachery will appear insignificant when your life is filled with all of these things for you to deal with. As soon as you come to the realization that they no longer have a place in your universe, you will know that you have truly triumphed over them. I am not referring to the process of constructing a life only for the sake of showing them or making them envious. Retribution through comparison or competition is not the focus of this discussion. Regaining control of your life is the focus here. Choosing to live your life according to your own terms and not allowing the acts of others to influence how you feel or what you do is the key. Through your actions, you are able to construct a life that is so powerful and so centered that nothing, especially their hatred, can affect it. You might think of it as building your very own stronghold. Nothing will be able to penetrate the structure that you are constructing since it is so sturdy and unmovable. The more you put into your development, whether it be in terms of your career, your health, your relationships, or your own personal progress, the more you reinforce that fortress. It is inevitable that the outside world, including those who have offended you, will eventually become meaningless to you. The negativity that they bring into your life is like water that travels off of a rock. That is the most powerful thing there is. To lead a life in which the actions of other people, regardless of how unpleasant they may be, are no longer able to upset your peace of mind. Your life can be lived without apology and according to your own terms, because you have the freedom to do so. Moreover, that is the most exquisite form of retribution of all. After they are unable to get in touch with you and have lost the ability to cause you harm, you will have already achieved victory. We learn from the Stoics that our freedom originates from inside ourselves. The ability to take charge of your own happiness can be achieved by constructing a life that is congruent with your beliefs and in which you are at peace with who you are. When you progress to the point where you are cognitively and emotionally self-sufficient, the opinions of other people just recede into the background. Your life will become so full of purpose and peace that nothing, not even their deeds in the past, will be able to disrupt the harmony that you have created. Despite the fact that this does not mean that you will no longer experience pain, it does mean that you will have the ability to recover more quickly and go forward with a sense of purpose. When you concentrate on the things that you have the ability to control, such as your thoughts, your behaviors, and the decisions that you make, everything else becomes irrelevant. When you make the decision to construct a life that gives you power, you eliminate any possibility of their destructive behaviors having an effect on you. And that, my friend, is the most effective kind of retribution. It is important to keep in mind that the ultimate power rests in your ability to craft your own fate. People who once attempted to cause you harm will discover that they are unable to exert any influence on you once you have achieved mastery over your own life and have created a universe that is so powerful and full of purpose. You will be so engrossed in your own development and achievement that their influence on your life will become insignificant until it is no longer noticeable. Let them see you unbothered. Being unbothered is strongest. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Ignore the debate about a decent man. Unite. Stop being angry or vengeful. Live it. Be happy. That's payback they can't touch, seeing you happy and at ease without them. What's worst for a wrongdoer? Not retaliation, indifference, actual disinterest. You deny them the joy of knowing their acts affected your life when you stop reacting and giving them emotional energy. You almost seem to have shown them that their attempts to hurt you failed. Anger, frustration, and retaliation cost energy. You let them deplete your emotions by responding with anything except peace. You regain power by being cool and unfazed. You broke free from their influence. A quiet win. No need to explain or shout it everywhere. Your demeanor and lifestyle will show it. Another Stoic, Epictetus, stated, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Stopping to interpret their acts and internalize their hostility removes the sting. Stop being controlled by pain. Showing them that their actions can't disturb your peace is the finest vengeance. You're untouchable. They suffer more from sincere apathy than retribution. Provoking someone who doesn't care is like that. It drives them crazy because they want to feel you care and that their words or actions did something. Moving forward and succeeding without them is a reflection of their failure. Their criticism hasn't slowed you down. Their pain will be greater than anything you could do. Genuine uninterest demonstrates great strength. You know your emotions. Your peace of mind is unaffected by their words or deeds, therefore they can't touch you. You now manage your emotions, reactions, and peace. They expect a response. They try to crush you with their nasty actions, but when you don't satisfy them and keep on, they have nothing to grasp onto. As you progress, they'll retreat. They'll realize they can't control you and their provocation is pointless. And that insight hurts. It pierces more than insult or revenge. While they dwell in negativity, you're progressing, improving, and growing stronger every day. In the end, Being unbothered doesn't mean you're apathetic or numb to the suffering. You've opted not to let them control you. You choose to ignore their hostility. You triumphed by choosing peace over their destructive conduct. You reclaimed it. When they see you happy, prospering, and enjoying your best life without them, they will feel their failure. They will realize that nothing they did had the desired effect. They recognize they've lost. In the end, the best retribution is going on, enjoying your life and being pleased without them. 7. Show them your relaxed self. Being unbothered is strongest. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Ignore the debate about a decent man. Unite. Stop being angry or vengeful. Live it. Be happy." That's payback they can't touch. Seeing you happy and at ease without them, what's worst for a wrongdoer? Not retaliation, indifference, actual disinterest. You deny them the joy of knowing their acts affected your life when you stop reacting and giving them emotional energy. You almost seem to have shown them that their attempts to hurt you failed. Anger, frustration, and retaliation cost energy. You let them deplete your emotions by responding with anything except peace. You regain power by being cool and unfazed. You broke free from their influence. A quiet win. No need to explain or shout it everywhere. Your demeanor and lifestyle will show it. Another Stoic, Epictetus, stated, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Stopping to interpret their acts and internalize their hostility removes the sting. Stop being controlled by pain. Showing them that their actions can't disturb your peace is the finest vengeance. You're untouchable. They suffer more from sincere apathy than retribution. Provoking someone who doesn't care is like that. It drives them crazy because they want to feel you care and that their words or actions did something. Moving forward and succeeding without them is a reflection of their failure. Their criticism hasn't slowed you down. Their pain will be greater than anything you could do. Genuine uninterest demonstrates great strength. You know your emotions. Your peace of mind is unaffected by their words or deeds. Therefore, they can't touch you. You now manage your emotions, reactions, and peace. They expect a response. They try to crush you with their nasty actions. But when you don't satisfy them and keep on, they have nothing to grasp onto. As you progress, they'll retreat. They'll realize they can't control you, and their provocation is pointless. And that insight hurts. It pierces more than insult or revenge. While they dwell in negativity, you're progressing, improving, and growing stronger every day. In the end, being unbothered doesn't mean you're apathetic or numb to the suffering. You've opted not to let them control you. You choose to ignore their hostility. You triumphed by choosing peace over their destructive conduct. You reclaimed it. When they see you happy, prospering, and enjoying your best life without them, they will feel their failure. They will realize that nothing they did had the desired effect. They recognize they've lost. In the end, the best retribution is going on, enjoying your life and being pleased without them. Forgive, but never forget. The Stoic philosophy acknowledges that forgiveness is one of the most potent tools in its repertoire. This does not mean that you are letting them off the hook. Rather, it means that you are relinquishing the hold that they have on you. The philosopher Epictetus remarked, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The act of forgiving someone is not about them. Rather, it is about you regaining your peace. Forgiveness is a notion that is susceptible to being misconstrued. A great number of individuals have the misconception that forgiving someone means to accept the wrongs that have been committed against them or to give the person who has wronged them a pass. However, That is not the point of the Stoic concept of forgiveness. In the Stoic conception, forgiveness is not for the benefit of the other person, rather, it is for them. The goal is to liberate yourself from the emotional confinement that is created when you continue to harbor resentment. Forgiving them is not something you are doing because they are deserving of it. Rather, you are forgiving them because you are deserving of peace. Holding on to anger or resentment is like carrying a heavy weight with you wherever you go. It hinders your ability to function normally. Your vitality is depleted, and your thoughts are drawn to the hurt, the betrayal, and the unfairness that you have experienced under that weight. It prevents you from moving forward and keeps you mired in the past, causing you to relive the suffering. On the other hand, when you forgive, you free yourself from it. You cease allowing their actions to decide how you feel about yourself emotionally. You regain control of the situation. However, this is where things start to become serious. Forgiving someone does not mean forgetting them. It is not about turning a blind eye to the betrayal that took place or attempting to erase the damage that they inflicted. Forgetting would mean that you are giving them the opportunity to injure you again in the future, and the Stoics would never advise you to do anything like that. As an alternative, you implement the lessons you've learned from the experience in order to safeguard yourself in the future. You become aware of their patterns and behaviors, and you acquire the ability to respond to them, not out of resentment, but rather out of good judgment. The Stoics held the belief that life is a series of lessons, and that every difficulty and every problem should be viewed as a chance for personal development. When you are wronged by another person, you have the opportunity to learn something about yourself. You can learn about your limits, how you respond to pain, and the ways in which you enable other people to have an impact on your life. Therefore, forgiveness is a means of acknowledging that you have learned the lesson without being bound by the situation that occurred in the past. You acknowledge that they have done you a wrong, but you make the decision to not allow that fact determine your destiny. It is for your own peace of mind that you forgive them, but you will never forget the lesson that they taught you. Remembering that betrayal, that dishonesty, and that anguish is important because it teaches you to be more resilient, more wise, and more aware of your surroundings. By doing so, you are able to prevent making the same mistakes in the future and establish a distinct border between the things that you will and will not tolerate in your life. In point of fact, once you have forgiven someone, you can discover that the next time they come around, their acts do not hurt you as much as they did before. You are adept at recognizing the warning indicators at an early stage. You have developed your wisdom. It is now possible for you to face future obstacles with even greater clarity and emotional fortitude, since you have the tools necessary. The ability to forgive is a gift that you give to yourself. It does not justify the actions that they have taken, nor does it suggest that you should allow them to return into your life. To put it simply, it indicates that you are no longer allowing their wrongdoings to exert any influence over your emotions or cognitive processes. You are able to reclaim your peace of mind by releasing the hold that anger, frustration, and hurt have on you. On the other hand, the true strength rests in the ability to recall the lesson. There will never be another time when you are taken aback by betrayal. You will be able to identify harmful tendencies and put safeguards in place to protect yourself. As soon as you recognize that the same detrimental behaviors are occurring again, you will have the ability to have the strength to walk away without being troubled. When you combine the ability to forgive with the knowledge you have received from the experience, you become more powerful. Forgive them, but not because they deserve it. Forgive yourself because you deserve that serenity. You should also keep in mind that the lesson you have learnt serves as your defense and shield against any future harm. The Stoic style of life is to live in the present moment, to liberate oneself from the past, and to make use of the knowledge that one has received through experience in order to construct a more favorable future. The act of forgiving others allows you to liberate yourself, and by remembering, you are sure that you will never again expose yourself to the same kind of pain that you experienced in the past. Surround yourself with winners. If you want to prevail against them, you should surround yourself with individuals who encourage and inspire you. The Stoics held the belief that your environment has the power to mold you. What you spend your time with shapes who you become. Find people that motivate you to improve yourself and inspire you to be a better version of yourself. When Marcus Aurelius was writing his meditations, he frequently discussed the significance of surrounding oneself with people who hold the potential to assist in the development of knowledge. He was aware of the fact that your surroundings have a direct impact on your mentality, your behaviors, and your personality. Even if the people around you have the potential to bring you down, they also have the ability to bring you to new heights. Think about it. When you surround yourself with people who are negative, with people who criticize you, or with individuals who drag you down, you begin to internalize that negativity. Their way of thinking becomes your own. Why you begin to have doubts about your capabilities. You begin to question the choices you make, and you begin to lose your sense of direction. However, when you surround yourself with people who are successful, those who are dedicated to progress, who push you to think more deeply, and who urge you to strive for excellence, you begin to reflect those same qualities in yourself. You are starting to go up. An additional Stoic philosopher named Epictetus is credited with making the famous statement, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse." In other words, what he meant to convey was that the people you surround yourself with have a significant impact on your identity, your soul. You will find that your soul becomes burdened when you are continuously surrounded by people who are draining to you and who feed into your concerns and doubts. Nevertheless, your soul will flourish if you are surrounded by people who are a source of inspiration to you and who are working hard to live a good life, to be ethical, and to improve themselves. Putting yourself in the company of powerful and optimistic individuals is analogous to constructing a stronghold around your tranquility. When your life is full of people who encourage and push you to develop, they won't be able to have any effect on you. Imagine if you are surrounded by people who rejoice in your victories, who support you through your challenges, and who continuously remind you of the potential that is inside you. Any form of negativity would have a difficult time penetrating those kinds of environments. Due to the fact that your circle is too powerful and too focused on advancement and improvement, the poisonous people who have damaged you in the past will not even have the chance to pass through. Indeed, your surroundings have the potential to serve as a shield. The more time and energy you put into cultivating connections that bring out the best in you, the more you start to model those characteristics in your own life. Your own mental and emotional fortitude will be bolstered by the support structure that you have constructed around yourself. It won't be long until their negative energy, whether it comes from those who have harmed you in the past or those who are attempting to tear you down, will appear to be of little consequence, because you will be so focused on your own journey, and because you will be surrounded by people who are as driven to improvement, their impact will become less noticeable to you. But avoiding toxic people isn't the only thing that matters. You should also make an effort to surround yourself with positive people. This is the group of people who will not only encourage you when things are going well, but who will also push you to realize your full potential and become the best version of yourself. They will encourage you when you are feeling dubious, push you when you are slacking off, and hold you accountable when you are veering off track. Having this kind of circle is not only beneficial to your survival, but it also helps you thrive. If you want to preserve your tranquility and construct the life you deserve, you should make sure that your surroundings are conducive to your goals. Spend time with people who are living their lives according to the same values that you are striving to achieve. Those individuals who are intent on their own development, who place a high value on resiliency and virtue, and who are aware of the significance of self-discipline and emotional fortitude. These are the kinds of relationships that will lift you up and help you triumph over any obstacle. When you forget about your own strength, they will remind you of it, and when you succeed, they will be there to enjoy your victories with you. It is important to keep in mind that, as the Stoics taught, we have the ability to pick our responses, but we also have the ability to choose other people who have an impact on us. Use your discretion. It is important to surround yourself with people who can help you become more powerful, who can improve you, and who can propel you to new heights. As soon as you do this, the individuals who have caused you pain in the past will no longer even be a notion in your head after that. You are going to be overly preoccupied with the successful people you have surrounded yourself with and the life that you are constructing together. The moment they regret it. There will come a time when they will start to feel regret for what they have done to you, when they witness you succeeding, when you rise above, and when you become the person they never imagined you could be. They're going to come to the realization that they made a mistake, and the moment of sorrow that they experience will burn much more than any act of vengeance that you could ever carry out. Seneca, acknowledged as one of the most influential Stoic thinkers, made the astute observation that time discovers truth. There is no possibility that the wrongdoings of a person can remain hidden for an infinite amount of time. Whenever the truth is brought to light, there is nothing that can be done to avoid the repercussions of one's conduct. The truth is always coming to the surface. Therefore, even though they could have wished that their treachery or harm would go unnoticed, or that you would disintegrate beneath its weight, time will expose the truth. And the fact is that you did not disintegrate, you did very well. Picture this. They are observing you as you continue to move forward with your life, possibly even years from now. They are sitting there quietly. They witness your success in accomplishing your objectives, overcoming challenges, and becoming more resilient with each new hurdle that you face. It is a knowledge that will gnaw away at them as they see you transform into the person they once attempted to kill. The consequences of their actions will begin to become apparent to them, and they will realize that their attempts to undermine you have only served to strengthen your resilience. And when that time comes, they will feel a profound sense of sorrow. Someone who was just trying to live their life and do good will be harmed by them, and the truth will hit them like a tsunami. They hurt someone. However, here is the thing with regret. It is not something that you have the ability to control, nor is it something that you really need to pursue. In this particular context, Stoic wisdom shines brightest. It is not necessary for you to take any action in order to make them regret anything that they have done to you. This is something that will occur organically as a result of the acts that they have taken. When you are wronged by another person, it is like to putting a stone into the water. It causes ripples, and those ripples extend out in ways that frequently back to the root of the problem. Even while they might not feel it right away, the feelings of guilt, humiliation, and regret will take hold of them once some time has passed and they have had the opportunity to think on their acts. And here is the harsh reality about regret. It follows you around for a longer period of time than any form of retribution ever could. It is difficult to exact revenge. It is a response that is fleeting and not permanent. In the short term, it may fulfill your desire for justice, but in the long run, it will not contribute much to your sense of overall peace or growth. On the other hand, regret is quite persistent. The rot continues. The burden of knowing that they have offended someone who did not deserve it becomes heavier with each passing day, and it continues to chew at them over the course of your lifetime. Anyone who lives with the knowledge that their acts have caused irreparable hurt to another person will never be able to find peace in their life. The ultimate power of this moment does not lie in the actions that you take toward them. It lies in the things that you do for yourself. Both getting caught up in their regret and holding it over their head are not something that you should do. They will come to the understanding that they never had the control over you that they believed they did the minute they realize that they have done something that they regret for their actions. Their attempts to injure you were nothing more than a passing moment in the broad scheme of your life, as seen by the fact that you have persevered through hardship and achieved achievement, growth, and strength. In the end, they will realize that their attempt to shatter you has only helped to make you more firm. In addition, that will hurt a great deal more than everything else you could have done in order to exact revenge with you. However, you should not allow their regret to define you. Not only should you not wait for them to apologize, but you should also not wait for their regret to justify your suffering. That is something you have already moved past. It is imperative that we exercise control over what we are able to control, which includes our actions, our emotions, and our peace of mind. This is the end of the past. What is important right now is the way in which you choose to live in the now, as well as the future that you are constructing. That moment of remorse does not change who you are or where you are headed, even though they may be guilty of regretting what they did. Moreover, Seneca made the observation that no man is free who is not master of himself to himself. You have achieved mastery of yourself in this instance. Overcoming the drive for vengeance and the desire to seek justice via action is something you have learnt to do by now. As a result of your ability to concentrate on your own development, you have eliminated any influence that they had on you. You are the one who safeguards your tranquility. You are the one who walks the route, and you are the one who is responsible for achieving your accomplishment. They will come to the realization that their acts did not merely fail, rather they backfired when they witness you succeeding and becoming everything they believed you were incapable of being. In the end, they will have to come to terms with the fact that they caused harm to a person who was ultimately more powerful, wiser, and capable than they originally believed was possible. The fact that their attempt to tear you down only served to bring you up higher is something they will have to deal with for the rest of their lives. You will feel the pain of that realization more intensely than any form of retribution you could have exacted. Therefore, let them be sorry about it. Give them the opportunity to confront their own feelings of guilt, self-doubt, and failure themselves. I see that you have already moved on. You have already demonstrated that you are above their trivial games. To add insult to injury, you won't have to take any action when that moment of remorse arrives. Your development, your achievements, and your resilience will prove themselves to be sufficient. Let them see you prospering, not because you want to rub it in their faces, but because you've decided to live your life with integrity and purpose, despite the suffering they caused you, even if they caused you grief. This is the best kind of retribution. If you're ready to win, do this. The question that really matters is whether or not you are prepared to climb. Are you prepared to demonstrate to them that in spite of their acts, you have not been broken, that they did nothing but make you more powerful? If you are prepared to advance in your career, to take control of your feelings, and to construct a life that no one can touch, then you should begin right away. We have arrived at the point where the road meets the rubber. The Stoics taught us that the most important thing in life is not to avoid suffering or adversity, but rather to respond to it when it comes our way. The impediment to action advances action, Marcus Aurelius wrote in his book Meditations to himself. The obstacles that stand in the way end up becoming the path. Each and every individual who has caused you pain, each and every act of treachery, and each and every moment of aggravation is an opportunity. Taking advantage of this opportunity will allow you to demonstrate to yourself how powerful you truly are. Not only does hardship provide us with challenges, but it also helps us become more refined. By doing so, it eliminates what is not necessary and brings to light what is essential. When someone wrongs you, they are, in fact, giving you the opportunity to rise above the situation. I am curious as to whether or not you are willing to take that risk. Are you going to make the most of this chance to transform yourself into the person you were ultimately destined to be? The Stoics held the belief that our actual character should be exposed when we are confronted with difficulties, and not when everything is under our control. According to Seneca, struggles strengthen the mind, just as labor strengthens the body. Emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, this is the time for you to show off your muscles. Simply stating that you are prepared is not sufficient, but here's the thing, it's not enough. You are required to demonstrate it by your actions. Do the following if you are truly prepared to rise to the occasion. 1. Don't feel the need to exact revenge on someone. The taste of revenge is pleasant, but it is poisonous to the spirit on a deeper level. Stoicism instructs us to concentrate on our own journey rather than being preoccupied with exacting revenge on other people. If someone does you wrong, let them go. Epictetus has been quoted as saying, "You are not required to penalize them in any way, simply get a good life." The only thing that revenge does is bind you to the person who mistreated you. On the other hand, you allow yourself to be liberated when you let go of the impulse to exact revenge. You are able to recover your future, your power, and your capacity for peace. 2. Put your attention on your own development rather than on their failure. It is simple to become engrossed in the concept of bearing witness to the failure of the individual who has caused you pain. On the other hand, that is a diversion. If you want to maximize your energy, you should concentrate on yourself. Instead of trying to keep you from living the life you want to live, build the life you want to live. The greatest form of retribution is success achieved in silence. It was Marcus Aurelius who made the observation that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Consequently, make the decision to concentrate on maturation, positivism, and accomplishment. 3. Learn to control your feelings. To put it another way, emotions are like waves. They come and go. Nevertheless, you are the ocean. Your actions should not be determined by fleeting emotions such as rage or grief. The Stoics were experts at maintaining control over their feelings. We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Epictetus asserted in a famous quote, "You remove the capacity of the other person to have an effect on you when you make the decision to not react emotionally. You recover command of your life and the feelings that you experience." 4. Put yourself in the company of healthy, positive individuals. The individuals you spend time with will have a significant impact on who you become. Associate with people who are likely to improve you, Seneca remarked, putting this point into emphasis. You should cultivate a group of friends, mentors, and allies who will motivate you, push you to your limits, and hold you accountable for your actions. You will begin to see your own potential in a different light when you surround yourself with individuals who are lifting you up. You begin to develop when you stop concentrating on the unpleasant aspects of your life. Their encouragement and support will assist you in maintaining your course and enabling you to weather the storms that life throws at you. 5. Never cease leveling up your character. Every difficulty presents an opportunity to improve a person's skills. Each and every traumatic experience presents an opportunity to develop one's resilience. Avoid remaining in a rut. Make every challenge a source of motivation to get better. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, Marcus Aurelius urges us to remember. When you succeed in spite of their efforts to bring you down, when you become the person they never imagined you could be, that is when you have effectively triumphed over them. The goal is not simply to disprove their assertions. Rather, it is to demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of achieving greatness regardless of the circumstances. The time has come for you to take action if you are truly committed to embarking on this road of self-mastery. Waiting for the ideal time or for a significant indicator is not something you need to do. Now is the critical moment. The first thing you need to do is make the decision to rise above the pain. Make the decision to live your life carefully. Choose to concentrate on your objectives and your progress rather than the negative aspects of them. If you are interested in learning additional methods for achieving self-mastery, for transforming suffering into power, and for constructing a life that no one else can touch, then you should click the subscribe button. Together, let us use this approach to achieving achievement and gaining strength. This is not something that you have to go through by yourself. Our goal is to leave behind a legacy that is characterized by resiliency, peace, and purpose. We are not simply seeking revenge. We have the ability to work together to create a life that not only succeeds but also flourishes, regardless of what other people do or say.